Welcome to round 6 of the Atomic World Challenge. This is VIPPrimo, and we're coming to you from the Suzuka Raceway for AWC. As you can see, Sneaki Gyraffe is in the pole position for today. And today was an interesting race. If you notice, we've got 5 people in the field, which is usually a lower amount. We've had a lot of people that ended up having to drop out last week because of things that were going on. And now we already have Shed here having a little bit of an accident early in on the parade lap of the event. So as he pulls it back together, again, you'll see that there were some people that actually got really busy, and a lot of people working some overtime this week, so they were unable to attend. As always, we do want to keep our invite open for anybody who would like to run a qualifying event and become a part of the Atomic World Challenge family. Again, run by Sneaki Gyraffe, officiated by the Most Wanted, and we're bringing you again round 6. Another person that is a big miss today is obviously going to be Patient Zero, who before last race was actually the points leader. So again, he has succumbed to our second place qualifier, Bryce Hall, who is now in the lead for the points. Patient does have a solid second place, but will he make a return? That is a great question that we're going to see coming up. And because of the limited amount of people, we actually saw the pro class move over to the GT class. As you can see, they're going to be racing Sterling GTs today, so that's going to make things real interesting for everybody. So here we go into the turn here as we start the racing, and let's see how things are going with this group. We're following one of our newer members. If you guys saw him last week, it was FX Shed. And funny enough, as we start the race, here we go. So FX Shed actually purchased that Coquette and went over and put some dirt tires on it right down at the waiting area, and had to go back over and put back on some more street tires for the vehicle so that we'd be better prepared for the race today. So it was never a dull moment as we came into this, and we still with the 5 fields. You can definitely see that there's already going to be a competitive race. We see here 2 of the RPM and uhhBros already trying to make moves on each other, trying to move up through the field with those Sterlings. I'm amazed at how well these cars actually handle, considering they're effectively sports classic vehicles. We're hoping to make a video now, and Shed is off the track. He's going to spin out a little bit there, allowing the 2 pro guys to move up through the track. We are hoping to have a little bit more. People are having some problems with that corner over there. We're hoping to make a video in the near future regarding vehicles that are in other classes that should be in the sports class, and maybe some vehicles that really don't fit into the sports class. And probably some of you are thinking Schwartz or that kind of thing. Oh, another big crash as he comes off the track. Can't keep it together. The Sterlings are going to keep their hands full as we move through these corners up here. And again, these are the pro guys here. It looks like they've got some distance. Will they be able to make these? Are slower cars, and the real question is, even with part time kind of slowing people down, the real question is can they develop some speed coming into these corners to make something happen with them? So let's move over here. Let's see how Sneaky's doing. He's moving up on Bryce. Lynx is somewhat of a faster vehicle, but the Jester has so much better handling in the turns. Up front is our current points leader, Bryce Hall, showing exactly why he's the points leader right now, as he moves through these turns using every ounce of the track that he can take out of it. But Sneaky is not one to make light of any racing situation, as you can see from his awesome flag on top of his car and his great livery. He's going to do everything he can with this Lynx to run it and make it work for him. As it's one of the phrases I coined the other day was the little Lynx that could, and it's definitely making a charge on the lead position. But it seems to be a kind of a quid pro quo, and Sneaky takes a tree, not what he wanted to have happen right out of the gate here, just as he comes up on that first position. That's going to leave, I believe, uhhBros to move into the position here. There he goes, and he's coming into the second position to try to reel in Bryce and hopefully be a pro class spoiler here. There, it looks like they're using part of that track and into the tree. Maybe using too much of the track. So Bryce Hall currently our lap leader, 145. The current park time for today is 141. As we can see, it's trying to stay as consistent as possible around each track. And they're doing everything they can to make that part time happen. So we see here a little bit of moving around in the field here. FX Shed with that Coquette trying to make something happen with it. That is having driven that car myself, I know that's a very difficult car to make something happen with it. Here he's skidding out, trying to get some leverage. With the side of these tracks, especially with a little drop off on it, there's a little bit of a play in the ending of it. And that really does play havoc with the back of the car if you try to touch it or play around with that edging. Not to mention that the Coquette is so where we are at RPM. RPM's coming over. He's got some stuff to prove. He did a lot to kind of talk us in. He was actually in pro and really pushed to be in the GT class, and took the Sterling GT handout to get into this class. Well, let's see how Sneaky's doing here. He's got still Bryce Hall in the crosshairs again. Trying to reel that car in to make something happen with it. One of those quick turns to come in here, and I'm sure he's going to try to do it in a way that's a little softer than we're used to. That way he can make some turns happen. So there he's making the move, and does he have the position? Looks like he does. Taken away from Bryce as he's coming around this corner here. Slippery in the edge. Can Bryce capitalize on that situation? Looks like he will. Can he hold that position with the faster links, or will the links come in? I think he's got the inside line here, so he's definitely going to be able to muster his way. But no, he backs off to give the links. Going to be another exciting race here, because I can already tell that they move in and move out. Trying to make a move on the outside, moving on the inside. That swing back is one of those tracks where you can see how he tries to just rub the bumper of the person in front of him, not to crash him so much as to try to meander his way around and get on. Because you get that inside line, you can kind of push the other guy out. But you got to be careful, because you don't want to crash him either. And there's different parts of these track dominance, and then the other one can reel them back in, and then they're back to fighting it out again. So here we go around this corner here. This has been quite a season for us. We've seen a lot of changes, both in the point standings and in the way everything is set up. It's really interesting. So we see RPM with the 141 right on par time with that Sterling GT. Everybody else seemed to run a little bit slower, even though they're being competitive. And usually when you're competitive, you end up running a much faster line, which we'd like it to be the other way, to be able to, so that we can better test cars and know where they're at. A little bit of bumping and rubbing on the back end of Sneaky, trying to give him a little loose nudge there. Still, the players are keeping moving for another lap. Bryce Hall making a move on the outside here. Sneaky can't see him as he moves to the outside to get a better line on the turn. Bryce does give him the space there, and he through the turn. So we're going to move through the chicane here, and Bryce is going to try to reel in Sneaky, who looks like he's having some difficulties banging off walls. Bryce does have a little distance to make up, though. I think he can pull this in, especially with the Jester on the turns here. This is that difficult turn, and he had big time problems with it. Bryce is right behind him, right on his tail, moving through the little area that's still tight. Still, Bryce is getting, you can tell he kind of moved back there a little bit to get a running speed at him to make it happen. And Sneaki is off the track. I couldn't tell if he was bumped there or if he was just he missed the throughway. So he's going to have to repeat that section, unfortunately, and that's going to hurt him bad as that moves him way back in positions. So it looks like we have RPM, and it's going to be, it looks like here it's going to be a battle between him and Bryce as one person moves away, another takes that position back, and as we cross that line right now, we have a new fight on our hands here. And right now, RPM has actually showed that he's been doing the best laps around the course here. I'm unsure AB RPM is putting everything into that car. These are the pro level guys, and that's what they do. They know how to take every ounce of a car out and just go full speed. That's usually what happens in the pro is you see someone that's just dominant will take whatever vehicle they have. They'll pick the fastest vehicle. A little bumping on the corners he comes through there. That might hurt him a little bit, but it didn't look like he recovered pretty quick about it. But with the pro class, these guys will take everything that they have, go full speed with it. Oh, that was Bryce taking it way too far. That turn has been problematic for everybody. Oh, and as he taps the back of RPM here, obviously wants to race clean, but he looks like he got a little airborne with it. Didn't look like, maybe that's something up with the Sterling GT that we're not aware of. RPM going through the chicane there. Bryce Hall once again getting a lot of momentum coming up behind him. And looks like, see there, oh, look at that. I'm wondering if he's testing it there to find out if that's something that the Sterling GT has. And it did appear that as the Sterling, for some reason, even with that Bulbjewis back in there, has made it so that if you tap it or come in contact, I know he passes him on the outside here. That's an easier way to do it, Bryce. Just grab him and run with it. That when you tap the rear end of that car, you don't actually have damage or flip them out. It just brings your car up in the air. Bryce may have taken that turn a little bit too fast, and RPM may or may not capitalize on it. They're taking these lines really as fluidly as possible. These two guys are, it takes back the lead. Little tap on the nose into Bryce as he comes around. These two guys have had in the past kind of a rivalry that's going on, or what's the word I'm looking for here? More of a feud than an actual rivalry. And they have gotten into each other before. There has been words that's going out between them, and kind of a discussion of, make sure you race clean. But you can tell that they're two guys that kind of, they get in with each other, and it happens. So it's something you have to deal with racing, and it can make things a little fun. Sometimes it can make it a little tedious, especially when you're on the track. But I hope, and around, but he pushes him back forward, waits for him to go by. It was a bad accident, but it was a clean one. We like seeing that at least. Because that's the thing is stuff does happen, and the beauty is in the digital world versus the real one, you can take extra steps to help somebody out versus in the real world. If you hit somebody, race is over, which is good. So maybe they have buried the hatchet. We'll just have to see. We're going from inside to outside, each one taking different lines to get the most speed out of the turn. Bryce got the much better of the deal of that one and took the lead from him. So Bryce is back, and we see again, like we were saying, this is the reason that Bryce is in the points lead right now, is because he wants to push it, he wants to get it there, and he's pretty good about keeping it under par. So that's something that plays out in his favor. Getting a little sloppy in lines. I did not see who that was behind him coming up, but it looks like we might want to be making this a 3-pack here in a second. which would be great. We haven't seen a good three-pack race since season 1, race 1, with Sneaki battling it out for the first place position. It was a really exciting race. It ended up with Agent kind of sliding out just a little bit, as you can see in the edges, these little lifted edges. One of his wheels got off the edge and he skidded out, and unfortunately it did cost him the race for that race. Remember that any of the races that we have today, you can see them on YouTube. It's part of a playlist. You can take a look at it and see all the races from beginning to end. Trust me, it has been well worth recording these and being a part of them since the very beginning. And it's just been exciting from day one to see from our first champion, Patient Zero, to the first pro champion was Rob, and then we had Dubachi as being the first Manufacturers Cup. It was amazing to have it all come together, and that was the other thing is people were like, well, the Dubachi, look at that big move on the inside there as RPM takes him. Dubachi wouldn't be shocking because you'd see Masakros and that kind of thing. The thing is the actual car that won the race for everybody was actually the Spectre Custom, and you're probably thinking, well, why is that? Well, because we have a part-time system, and that part-time slows down anybody that's, let's say, a pro racer like these two pro guys get in. They still have to maintain that 141 time to be competitive, and if they can't keep that 141, then they can't race, and those handicaps, will continue to escalate over time and make it so that they don't ever race in the GT class. So we want the GT class to be available to those who are, both competitive, giving themselves handicaps like having a Jester that doesn't have all the mods, or a Sterling GT without all the mods like we see here. Off the track again, that turn right there is causing everybody problems. A little bit more tapping, but still lets him by. Still racing clean, that's good. So yeah, like I said, it's made in a way to keep these guys who are newer guys like Bryce here on the track to be able to compete against somebody who's like in the pro class like RPM. And that allows them to, for these new players too as well that come in, to be able to be competitive and to race a good race. So even if you get a faster guy that's running out of the pro class and he says, I want to race GT, here he has an opportunity to run a car that's a lot faster and oh yeah, that was that's what we're talking about with that Sterling GT's back bumper has some sort of edging on it. It's popping his wheel up. He did get a piece of him, which obviously he wants to race clean, but he ended up getting a piece of him and throwing him into the wall. We were discussing that earlier about how when we were in GTA races, or GT races, if you will, in GTA, that a lot of people like turning, or they like getting out of a race or going around somebody by actually tapping the back end of the car in front of them. And if there's one thing that I guess I would love to be able to teach the world in GTA, it's how to race a clean race, or how to take a clean turn in a way that would allow players to go back and forth, especially on something like a GT race that is the idea that if you let somebody in front of you, it's not like you're going to be able to catch up with them. They're going to be slowed down, and that gives you the opportunity to kind of capitalize on a situation like that. But if you race and run into somebody or cause havoc on the track, as you can see here, it's playing against the playing style that Bryce wants. And the thing is if you get that way, it gets very frustrating. And obviously, whenever you have any kind of chaos like that on the course and people ramming and crashing, it's not going to be something that's enjoyable to even be involved with. It'll be very frustrating. So here, big move. Bryce comes in on the inside, gives him a little tap as he passes. If you guys notice that is definitely him making a statement, and a big crash on the inside. I can see major damage on the inside of his car right there. Is he going to be able to recover from that and get that car back up to speed? That is it's going to be a question that's going to have to be resolved here. He does look like he's running a little bit slower. Putting himself in the wall like that, not what he wanted. So we're going to move back here to the uhhBros versus Sneaki fight. Looks like uhhBros has still got a fight, and he was they were moving up a couple of minutes ago, and it looked like they were going to be a four-way fight. And as you can see, yeah, there's the guys out there in the front. They're not too far away. Sneaki having some problems there on the outside as usual with that turn. It's been difficult. uhhBros is moving it back a little bit here to give him some space to get some more running room and not cause an accident. Here's that turn again, and uhhBros way off the track, getting back into it, trying to make everything happen. But Sneaky's links just will not. The little links that could is still not wanting to give us its position from the lead area. So it looks like everybody here, 141s, 141, 142, 142. So it looks like this pack is going to stay the way it is. Don't know if the front two guys are still running the 142s or if they're still in the 141s. It can be sometimes very tough as they come right once again across the start-finish line to kind of figure out where everybody's sitting at as they move in here. It looks like that position is going to stay the same for a little bit. We'll move back here to Bryce, who still looks like he's still having problems with that car as he comes around looking for RPM up front. Looking for that clean pass. He's had a couple of real strong passes that it looked like he was going to be able to overtake, but was not able to capitalize on them. And it's been not an easy track from the standpoint of, this turn right here, for instance, has been problematic for everybody. Well, not specifically this one, the one that's coming up. This turn has been somewhat of a move. Oh, strong move from Bryce, suddenly finding power on his car. Here's that difficult turn. He comes to the edge. He's able to keep it in line, keep it back off the course. Did see a little bit of roll out there, but he's been able to grasp onto it and run that car hard in the straight line. So here they move back into a strong push by RPM, taking Bryce right out of the race here. This is a good quit. RPM did not stop. I hear the radio chatter asking him why he did not slow down. He is continuing to drive forward. You see Sneaki taking that position away from Bryce. We're actually listening to the officials right now as they're discussing. We're trying to get in touch with RPM to ask him why he's still moving forward. We see him off there in the distance. Bryce is now going to have a lot of space to get back into the move here, and he's now got Sneaki in his way. Still no response from RPM yet. We see here that everybody's running solid times within par. As Bryce moves up here to Sneaki to face off again. This is again a difficult battle for him because the straight line power of the Lynx versus the turning power of the Jester. And we're coming up on the part of the track that Sneaky's been having troubles with so far. And once again, it looks like we're back into the wheelhouse there. Still no word back from RPM. And I'm guessing at this point that the officials are going to have a discussion about what they want to do. Sneaki moving out a little bit. He's been, like you said, we was having problems with those turns earlier, and obviously Bryce is able to move in on the inside line, and he's pushing forward here. But you have to take him on the outside. It's going to be kind of difficult. See how he moves it. He's giving a little honk to move out of the way. Well, there's still some. It's a little bump there. See if he can move past him, and now we're back at that straight line speed. Yes, can he pass him, or is it going to be no? He folds back a little bit to give him some more range. Still no word back from RPM about. Oh, and there's the crash. Sneaki is out of it. So we got Bryce back in the second position, competing back, and I'm sure he's right now gunning for where RPM is to try to pull that finish back. Gotta be a frustrating thing to have happen is have somebody push you off the track and then just keep going. so the officials are discussing right now. They're going to get back to us before the end of this and see what kind of, I'm guessing that there's going to be some sort of penalty applied to RPM for just rushing ahead after rear end. And we thought that kind of competition was over, and that their rivalry was playing out pretty good. But it is here it is. We don't know if that was purposeful or not. We haven't heard anything back from RPM on it, and it appears at this time that we're not going to hear anything from him as he pushes forward without any response whatsoever. So this is we're coming up close to the end of the race here. I think we got about probably 2 laps to go, and we have quite a situation. This is probably coming up on the last lap here, I believe, and we have a situation where RPM has crashed into the back of Bryce and has taken a strong, and we haven't been able to hear from him yet, with strong second place from Bryce. At this point, Sneaki, due to a crash, has moved himself into the third position, with uhhBros coming in fourth, and FS Shed, who his Coquette has not worked for him today, unfortunately, and we hope that he'll be able to make something in other races. Coquette is a good car, and we see here as RPM is coming up on Shed as lap traffic. He's giving him a little honk to get past him. And there he moves past. That actually slowed him down a little bit. I wonder if Bryce can make a move with that. We're coming up right. This is pretty much it for the race. And RPM is up here all by his lonesome, trying to capitalize on a move that he made earlier today. Very aggressive move. And obviously with Bryce in his next position. So there we see Bryce coming up, a strong move. So is he going to drive this fair, or is he going to take a little vengeance here? We're coming up right here, and I think that's it right there is the finish line. Can he take that position back, or is he going to crash him? Is it going to be and there it is. And RPM is loaded as a finish. We have just heard back from the officials, though, that RPM will be deducted a 20-second penalty for his role in the crash today, which, although it shows him in first position, will definitely knock him out of the first position, may even drop him back to third. So we see here uhhBros taking his pass at the end. And here we have Shed driving in. He's got a 20-second pole here, but we're looking at that Coquette making some moves in the future, and he's a great guy to do it. So this has been quite the exciting race. As we come to a close here, how is the season going to play out for the next half? It's going to be a great question regardless today. The finish was RPM, Bryce Hall, uhhBros, Sneaki, Gyraffe, and FX Shed. We'll be seeing where RPM gets deducted later. Thank you guys for tuning in, and we will see you next week.